Hello and welcome to another episode of Do You Want More, a UFC stat show right here on the Monkmatics channel. I am your host Monk, aka the Monkmatician, and in this episode we are going to break down all 5 fights from the main card for UFC Vegas 39, headlined by Mackenzie Dern and Marina Rodriguez. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Phil Hawes going against Winn. Starting off this main card is this middleweight bout. Phil Hawes, 6 foot tall, 77-inch reach, orthodox fighter, 32 years old, 11-2 professionally, 3-0 in the UFC. Only 15% of his fights have gone the distance. He's 2-0 in those decisions. 61.5% of his fights have been ended by way of KO, TKO. 7 wins, 1 loss, and he has 2 wins, 1 sub, or 2 sub wins, 1 sub loss on his record as well. Average fight time in the UFC, 10 minutes, 18.35 ass whoop index. That is a fantastic number. 6th, let me get my cursor up here. 6th right here out of 70. That's how we're going to measure these rankings. Good power index from Hawes as well, 0.96. That's 14th best. And then a perfect chindex of 0. That's where you want it, right at 0. Never been knocked down. Phil Hawes opened minus 220. He's currently minus 278, so more and more money coming in on Phil Hawes. Megatron, his nickname, that's a good one. Love that nickname. Winn, 5'6", 70-inch reach. So again, already the measurables, leaning big time here for Phil Hawes. He's 6 inches taller, 7 inches more reach. They are the same age, 32 years old. Winn is 7-2 professionally, 2-2 in the UFC. 44% of his professional fights have gone the distance. He is 3-1 in those decisions. He has 4 wins by knockout, no losses, and he has been subbed 1 time. Average fight time just under 15 minutes, 7.37 ass whoop index. So another good ass whoop index here. 0 power index though, and a 0.34 chindex. So that is a bit below average in the division, 36th out of 70. Winn opened plus 185. He's currently plus 222. This fight is minus 145, does not go to decision. Plus 105 does go to decision. I'm capping this big time for Phil Hawes. 65% for, 35% for Winn. Let's get into the stats here. A couple of finishing numbers. 1 finish for Hawes in the UFC, and it was in the first round. And then Winn has been finished by sub in the UFC in the 3rd round. Striking data, anytime I say strikes, I mean significant strikes. Phil Hawes, 3.43 strikes landed per minute at a 62.6% accuracy. Wow, great number. Only gets hit with 2.81 strikes a minute at a 52% defense. Has a decent striking differential of 0.63 per minute. That is 26th out of 70. Pretty good. He is pretty efficient as well. Top 10 in efficiency, 14.63%. Spends only 30.6% of his total fight time fighting at distance. Has 1 knockdown for and 0 knockdowns against. Let's see here. Winn lands more than Phil Hawes, 4.74 per minute, but that's the only category he's going to be better in. 47% accuracy. Gets hit with 5.17 strikes per minute at a 50% defense. Has a negative striking differential of negative 0.44 strikes per minute. That is 52 out of 70 fighters in the middleweight division. Negative striking accuracy. He does spend 64.5% of his total fight time fighting at distance. No knockdowns for and 1 knockdown against. Just a note, since these numbers are so high, I usually don't read them. When Winn throws over 100 significant strikes in a fight, which has happened twice, he lands 8.16 strikes per minute, almost double of what he throws, or of what he lands usually, and he did win 1 of 2 of those fights. Takedown data. Phil Hawes lands a very good number, 2.97 per 15 minutes at a 54.5% accuracy. Has a perfect takedown defense, has stuffed all 7 attempts against him. Has a pretty good takedown shooting rate, 6.63. Fantastic takedown efficiency rate, 4th highest in the division. So some good numbers there from Phil Hawes. Winn coming in with the volume, though. 4.98 takedowns landed per 15 minutes. He attempts almost 10 takedowns per 15 minutes here at a 52% accuracy. Has a 0% takedown defense, though. 2 for 2 landed against him. Negative 47% efficiency there. Control time data. Huge number from Hawes, 55% for. That is the 5th highest in the middleweight division. Only 14.3% against. Almost a 4-to-1 ratio there. Has spent 69% of his total fight time fighting inside the distance, and he has controlled 79.38% of that fight time. Just fantastic number there. 1 sub attempt for, no sub attempts against. Drawn Winn, another great number, 33% control time for, only 2% control time against. Wow. Almost 14-to-1 ratio. Has spent 35% of his total fight time fighting inside the distance, and he's controlled 94% of that fight time. That's the 4th highest number in the division. Incredible. So, I mean, 19 minutes of control time, and he's controlled 93% of those 19 minutes. Has a fantastic get-up time of 41 seconds. 3rd fastest, the 3rd quickest in the division. Some advanced significant striking data. We're just kind of looking at volume here, and accuracy and defense, which Phil Hawes pretty much runs all the striking numbers, except for the head strikes landed and a couple of other categories. But offensively and defensively, fantastic. A lot of very good numbers there. So let's get into efficiency and differentials. Great numbers from Phil Hawes here. Even where he is negative, which is one category, it's barely negative. And he's dominating Dern Winn. I mean, these numbers aren't, the efficiency numbers are very good. Differential numbers aren't anything to write home about, but Dern Winn is negative in every efficiency category except the one where he's 0. And he gets outstruck pretty much everywhere. Phil Hawes, 70.5% of all strikes he throws are to the head, significant strikes, 20.5% to the body, 9% to the legs. So he mixes it up very, very well. He gets in a good amount of ground strikes too, 16.87. And then last 5 we don't have to look at because the stats will be the exact same as above. Neither guy has 5 fights in the UFC. Let's look at the strength of schedule, which I do go outside the UFC for. Phil Hawes is 5-0 in his last 5, and he has an okay strength of schedule. You're looking for numbers in the 70s. 70 to 75 is pretty good. Above that is great. Anything below that, you're starting to get into pretty bad territory. But Phil Hawes, no 70s, but he's dominating Winn everywhere. So much better strength of schedule than Dern Winn. And then Phil Hawes beats Kyle Daukaus, Nasruddin Imavov, and Jacob Malkoun in the UFC for his 3-0 record. Dern Winn beats Arroyo and Spicely, but loses to Darren Stewart and Gerald Meerschaert. Let's see here. A couple of graphs. Trending up is Phil Hawes in striking, looking pretty good. Had a very good showing against Jacob Malkoun. Very quick showing, I should say. And then opponents are not landing any takedowns. He's looking fantastic in all 3 of these graphs. Just really, really, really good. Dern Winn trending down in his striking. Trending way up in his takedowns and absolutely dominating. Same with control time, as we talked about. So some pretty good ground graphs from both of these guys in their last 5 fights. Phil Hawes, fantastic, perfect takedown defense, good takedown accuracy and striking accuracy there. Winn with the distance percent and the grappling control percent. Let's see, Winn never been knocked out. And then the strength of schedule, as we said, is going to Hawes. Aggregate win-loss finish rate, professionally and in the UFC. So this just, I use this to see if the fights are going to finish inside the distance or not, pretty much. And we got some big finishing numbers in professionally. But once you get into the UFC, which is 7 fights, they're only finishing 3 of those fights. Wins or losses. Only 20% finishes and wins, 50% in losses. So this might go the distance. Let's see. Yeah, Phil Hawes does have the knockout win over Jacob Malkoun, but then 2 decision victories past that. So there are those numbers there. Next fight, Sabina Mazo going against Maria Agapova. Women's flyweight fight. Looks like Mazo is going to move down from bantamweight into flyweight here. Mazo 5'7", 70-inch reach, 9-2 professionally, 3-2 in the UFC. She is 24 years old. 72% of her fights have gone the distance. She has 2 knockout wins and 1 submission win, never been finished. Average fight time just under 15 minutes. She does have a pretty good ass whoop index, about mid-level in the division. Actually, this is flyweight, so top 30%, 5.32. And then 0.21 power index, which is pretty good for the division, and a perfect chin index. She opened at -180 Mazo, and she's currently minus 156. So a little bit of money coming in on Agapova, who is 5'6", 68-inch reach, southpaw fighter, 24 years old as well. 9-2 professionally. She's 1-1 in the UFC. Much more of a finisher is Agapova. 36% of her fights have ended by knockout TKO. 3 wins, 1 loss. 4 wins by sub. Never been finished by submission. Average fight time in the UFC, just under 1 round. Second quickest in the division. 11.6 ass whoop index. That is the 5th best in the division. Has the highest power index and a perfect chin index. Wow. Plus 155 she opened at, did Maria. She's currently plus 128. This fight is very, very close for me. My formulas here. 51% Mazo, 49% Agapova. So pretty much a pick 'em. Couple of finishes. There's the round finishing data there. All right, some striking numbers. Mazo, 6.56 strikes landed per minute, 5th highest in the flyweight division. 45% accuracy. She gets hit with only 3.9 per minute. 60% defense. A great differential, 2.65 per minute. That is 3rd highest in the flyweight division. 5.18% efficient. Spends 60% of her total fight time fighting at distance. I mean, looking really good here. And she's thrown over 100 significant strikes in all 5 of her fights. 1 knockdown for, no knockdowns against. So some pretty good numbers there from the Colombian queen. Maria Agapova on the other side, 5.47 strikes landed per minute. That is a top 10 number. 52% accuracy. Gets hit with 3.75 strikes per minute at a 48.5% defense. Also a top 10 differential here, 1.71 strikes landed per minute. 7th highest in the division. Positive efficiency, and spends only 30% of her fight time fighting at distance. 1 knockdown for, which gives her a 1.61 knockdown per 15 ratio. 1st in the division. Takedown data, 0.81 takedowns for Mazo at an 80% accuracy. Gets hit with 1 takedown against at a 66% defense. So, okay there. Good for the division. A very good efficiency as far as takedowns go. Agapova on the other side lands many more takedowns. More volume, I should say, not many more. She's only 2 for 2, but it's just that small fight time that brings her number up to 3.22 per 15 minutes. 100% accuracy, 0% defense though. Yeah, 0% takedown efficiency, so not much to speak of on her side. I know I was getting a little excited there, but I need to calm myself down. Basic control time data, 17.67% for Mazo, 22% against. So she does have a negative ratio. She spends 40% of her total fight time fighting inside the distance. Controls only 44% of that fight time. Has a very long get-up time, but a decent hold-down time as well. 1 submission attempt, unsuccessful. No reversals. Agapova on the other side controls 38% of her total fight time, 32% against. Positive ratio. 70% of her fight time has been fought inside the distance, and she does control over half that time, 54%. Has a pretty quick get-up time for the division, 90 seconds, and an okay hold-down time. 1 submission attempt for her as well, and actually I think I said Mazo was unsuccessful. She was successful. Both these women were successful in their submission attempts. Advanced significant striking data, let's see here. Some actually decent numbers from Mazo. A lot of top 10 numbers here. And only a couple for Agapova. But once you get down into the distance clinch and all that stuff, she has some pretty good numbers there. Efficiency and differentials, very good for Mazo. Actually very good for both women. Negative for Agapova in a couple spots. But these differentials for Mazo are fantastic. And Agapova has a couple of very good differentials as well. So could be a pretty decent striking battle here. 70% of all strikes thrown by Mazo have been targeted the head, rather. 15% to the body and 15% to the legs. Let's see. Last 5 we can ignore. Strength of schedule. This one is going to go to Agapova, it looks like. Just barely. Just barely. So it's pretty even, actually. Both pretty poor. And they're both 3-2 in the past 5. So Mazo dropping fights to Davis and Moroz, and then Agapova lost to Shanna Dobson, who I think has a 4-5 record, if off the top of my head, if I'm not mistaken. Mazo did beat Dobson. That is their one common opponent. It was a decision victory. She whooped her ass, though. 22.64 ass whoop index. She outstruck her 5 strikes per minute. 4 takedowns to 0. Controlled 72% of the fight time. Yeah, Mazo whooped up on Dobson there. Mazo's got a very good striking graph. I mean, it's almost not even touching her opponents. Takedown graph, not so much going down. Control time going down as well. Agapova, pretty good graph there as far as striking goes, but takedown and not good. Control time, rather, is looking okay. She does have her opponent there. Visual statistical recap. Looking pretty good for Mazo. Agapova does have that takedown accuracy, though, and, the grapple control time. Never been finished as Mazo. Let's see. Agapova never been submitted. And then that strength of schedule, which is going to go to, I believe we said Mazo, but here it's looking like Agapova. Yeah, we did say Agapova, but they're both, it's very close. And then the aggregate win-loss finish rates, probably going to go to decision here. Perhaps. Oh, yeah, plus 145 does not go to decision. Minus 185 does go. Anyways. Tim Elliott, let me get a little water break here. Tim Elliott going against Matthias Nicolau. Flyweight fight. Elliott, 5'7", 66-inch reach. Southpaw fighter, 34 years old. 17-11-1 professionally. He is 6-9 in the UFC. Almost half his fights have gone to decision. He does have 3 knockout wins, 1 loss, and 6 submission wins, 5 submission losses. Average fight time, 12.5 minutes almost. 8.7 ass whoop index, so 5th highest in the flyweight division. 0.16 power index and a 0 chindex. Very good there. He is opened plus 135. He's currently plus 149. Matthias Nicolau coming in 5'6", 66-inch reach, 28 years old, 16-2-1 professionally, 4-1 in the UFC. 42% of his fights have gone to decision. 4 wins, 2 losses by knockout, 5 wins, no losses by submission. Average fight time, just a bit longer than Elliott at 12.5 minutes. 10.74 ass whoop index, so the 3rd highest in the division. 4th highest power index, and the 6th lowest, or 6th highest chindex, which you don't want to be high in that category. 1.14. Opened minus 155, currently minus 180. I'm capping this fight a bit closer than that, but still leaning towards the Nicolau side. Fight finishing data there in the UFC, just 2 finishes for these guys. 2 finish wins, rather. 2nd and 3rd round. And then look at this, Tim Elliott, 3 round 1 finish losses. That's 20% of his UFC fights. 4 first round finish losses between them. Basic striking data, Tim Elliott, 3.35 strikes landed per minute at 45, almost 46% accuracy. Gets hit with only 2.49 strikes a minute at a 60% defense. Very good numbers there. 0.86 striking differential, almost a top 10 number in the division. 5% striking efficiency, 45% of his total fight time he has spent at distance. 1 knockdown for, 0 knockdowns against. It's a very low knockdown per 15 ratio there. Nicolau on the other side lands a bit more, 3.79 strikes per minute at a 52% accuracy. Gets hit with only 2.83 strikes a minute at a 66 or 67.6%. Yeah, I said that right. 67.65% striking defense. Top 10 numbers there as far as accuracy and defense go. And a just under a 1 significant strikes landed per minute differential. That is 7th highest in the flyweight division. 20% efficient. When he strikes, 76% of his total fight time has been fought at distance. I mean, 5 fights, he's got 5 knockdowns, 4 and 2 knockdowns against. So tons of power coming from this guy. 1.2 knockdowns per 15 minutes. That is the 3rd highest number in the division. Takedown data. Let's see here. Elliott lands 4.02 takedowns per 15 minutes, 2nd highest in the division at a 50% accuracy. His takedown defense only 58% though. A very good differential, 2.54 landed per 15 differential. That is 3rd highest at flyweight. Nicolau on the other side. 1.93 takedowns landed per 15 minutes, top 10 number, 44% accuracy, 100% takedown defense, stuffed all 3 takedowns against him. So we're really going to see Nicolau's takedown defense, what its capabilities really are in this fight, I think. Basic control time data, Tim Elliott 32% for, 22.5% against. He has spent 55% of his total fight time fighting inside the distance, and he has controlled over half that time at 58.82%. Very good. 14 sub attempts there. 12 sub attempts against. My goodness. 7 reversals for Elliott, 9 reversals against. Oof. 39% of the time Elliott has a takedown landed against him, he reverses it. Very good number there. Nicolau controls 22% of his fights, almost 23%, top 10 number. Control time against only 1.15%, second lowest in the division. Good on ya. Has spent 24% of his total fight time fighting inside the distance, and he's controlled 95% of that fight time. So I think we're really going to see Tim Elliott here. We're going to see Nicolau's takedown defense, and we're going to see, if Tim Elliott cannot get controlled. That's what we're going to see in this fight. Advanced significant striking data. The accuracy and defense is almost exclusively leaning at Nicolau. But then once you get into the volume, it goes back to Tim Elliott. Efficiency and differentials, and this is what you see when that happens above. You see bad efficiency numbers and very low differential numbers. Whereas on Nicolau's side, very good efficiency numbers for the most part, and pretty decent differentials as well. Last 5 fights. Let's see. Elliott, yep, Nicolau's numbers will be the exact same. Elliott's we can look at. He is 2-3 in his last 5. Nicolau's pretty much got him everywhere that matters, except for, we're pretty close on the striking, offensive striking. But control time against and takedown defense, it's Nicolau. But Tim Elliott does have some good numbers. Let's not get it twisted. Tim Elliott has some good numbers. Positive striking differential, positive takedown differential, a good control time differential, 6.21 ass whoop index, no power index, but a perfect chindex. Nicolau on the other side is pretty much all or nothing. I mean, he's got a huge ass whoop index, the biggest power index in the division, but a huge chindex as well, 1.14. Tim Elliott trending down in 5 of 8 categories. His takedown defense has improved almost 24% in his last 5 compared to his career, though. So that is very good. Takedown accuracy is down 20%, however. Strength of schedule. Tim Elliott, as we said, 2-3. Nicolau is 4-1 in his last 5. It's an okay strength of schedule, but I think we got to give it to Tim Elliott here. Elliott's strength of victory is not as good as Nicolau, but his strength of defeat much better, and the overall strength of schedule is better. He's got wins over Espinoza and Benoit. If you want to say Benoit, I don't know if it's Benoit. Elliott did lose, however, to Royval, undefeated Askarov, and former champ Davison Figueiredo. Nicolau's beat Manel Kape, Smolka, Moraga, and Rodriguez. Lost to Dustin Ortiz, his lone loss in the UFC, in which he got his ass whooped. A couple of graphs for you to look at. Trending down in striking, but currently he's above his opponent's average. Killing it in takedowns and killing it in control time is Tim Elliott. Nicolau trending down just barely in striking, but he's still above his opponent's average. Killing his opponents in takedowns and control time, and it's not even close. Basic fight metrics, Nicolau is pretty much dominating Elliott everywhere, except for takedown accuracy, but it's really about 5 points different. And then the strength of schedule, Nicolau just has the strength of victory edge over Elliott there. And then the win-loss finish rate, pretty decent finishes in the career, but when you get into the UFC, it drops significantly when you're fighting the best of the best. So that tends to happen in every single fight. So yeah, this one is probably going to go the distance. Matheus Nicolau by decision is what I say, which I don't have the odds for that, but I still say it. Co-main event of the evening, Randy Brown going against Jared Gooden. Randy Brown here, 6'3". This is going to be a welterweight fight. Brown, 6'3", 78-inch reach. Orthodox stance, 31 years old, He's 13-4 professionally, 7-4 in the UFC. 6 wins by knockout, 2 losses, 5 wins by sub, 1 loss. Just under 10-minute average UFC fight time. Has a ass whoop index of 0.99. That is 44th out of 67. Let's see, has a decent power index, 0.75. Pretty poor chin index, 0.67. Brown did open minus 200. Money coming in on him still, minus 248 is where we're at there. Jared Gooden. 6 foot tall, 77-inch reach orthodox fighter, 27 years old, 18-6 professionally, 1-2 in the UFC. 8 wins by knockout, 1 loss, 6 wins by sub, never been subbed. Average fight time just over 10 minutes. Ass whoop index of 0.16. So that is 49th out of 67. Has a pretty good power index, lower than Brown though, 0.64, but a perfect chin index of 0. Opened plus 170, plus 199 currently. I don't know, man. This fight is minus 180, doesn't go to decision. I might have to look into this a little bit more. Jared Gooden, I'm capping this at pretty much a pick'em, and I'm getting a plus 200 line on him. I'm going to have to look into that. That's the most intriguing number I've seen so far on this entire card, honestly. I do like Randy Brown, though, but let's get into these numbers. A couple of finishes. Several round 1, 2, and 3 finish wins for Brown. He has been finished 3 times in the second round, so he'd like to not get that second round. He wants to get out of the second round. Basic striking data. Brown, 3.72 strikes per minute at a 47% accuracy. Gets hit with 2.79 per minute at a 53.7% accuracy. That is a 0.93 strike per minute differential. 23rd in the division. Nothing special about any of those numbers. Spends 43.8% of his total fight time fighting at distance. He's got 3 knockdowns and 2 knockdowns against. Jared Gooden, 5 strikes landed per minute at a 42% accuracy. Gets hit with a huge 7.55 per minute. Third highest in the division. 49% accuracy or defense. Wow, negative 2.51 strikes landed per minute differential. That is the 4th lowest number in the division for Jared Gooden. Negative 8% accurate, and with all those not great striking numbers except for the volume, he spent 81% of his total fight time fighting at distance. Does have 1 knockdown, 4. Never been knocked down in the UFC. Randy Brown, 0.98 takedowns landed per 15 minutes at a 46% accuracy. Gets hit with 1.54 per 15 minutes. 71% defense though, so pretty respectable there. 17% takedown efficiency. Jared Gooden, 0.96 landed per minute at 100% accuracy, just 2 for 2. 83% takedown defense, so very good. Stuffed 5 of 6 takedowns against him. 83% takedown efficiency, that is 3rd highest in the division. Control time data, this is going to be Randy Brown's category. 25.8% for. He does get out-controlled though, 30% against, wow. But everywhere else it looks pretty good. Has spent 36% of his fight time fighting inside the distance. Controls 46% of that fight time. 5 sub attempts for. 3 of them have been successful. Couple reversals there. Jared Gooden, only 4.6% control time, 14% against. So he does keep it low, but he's getting out-controlled 3-1. Spends only 19% of his time fighting inside the distance. Controls only 24.5% of that time. Not very good at all. No sub attempts for. Defended both sub attempts against. Striking data, Randy Brown is going to be taking most of these categories in accuracy and defense. Couple of the volume categories go to Gooden, especially the head strikes and body strikes. But pretty much everything else is going to be Rude Boy, Randy Brown. Minus efficiency for Randy Brown in leg striking and distance striking, but everywhere else he's looking pretty good. Has an over 1 head strike differential per minute. Half a clinch strike, half a body strike, and then some pretty poor numbers from Gooden, except for that inside the distance striking efficiency where he is 72% efficient. But he gets outstruck from distance 2 strikes to 1, basically, 2.5 to 1. Last 5 we can look at for Randy Brown. 2.63 ass whoop index. Oh, a good power index, but a terrible chindex, 1.50. That is not what you want to see. Randy Brown trending up in in all of his offensive categories, trending down in all of his defensive categories compared to his career. Has the much better strength of schedule though compared to Jared Gooden. Just the strength of defeat is better for Gooden, but it is very close. Gooden's strength of victory is terrible, 48.94. Oh my goodness. It means the guys he's beaten do not have great records at all. And he has beaten only Nicolau Stoltz in the UFC. He lost to Abubakar Nurmagomedov, if I could read, and then Alan Jouban. Randy Brown's losses, on the other hand, are to well, I'm not going to say on the other hand. His losses are to very good guys. Vicente Luque, Nico Price still fighting pretty well. He did beat Alex Oliveira, subbed Alex Oliveira actually. That's a good look. Subbed Warley Alves as well. KO'd Brian Barberena. So hey, Randy Brown trending up in striking, down in takedowns, and up in control time. So pretty close in control time there. I don't like this takedown graph, but the striking graph is very good. Gooden trending up, but he's getting hit with too many strikes, 7.5 per minute. Trending up in takedowns, but it's very close. And then control time needs some work. Visual stat recap. Pretty much is all Gooden actually, except for the grapple control percent and the striking accuracy. Everywhere else is Gooden, and it's not very close. Gooden has been finished less than Brown has, and Brown has the much better strength of schedule, however, as we discussed. This one could get finished 80% in wins professionally, 40% in losses, and that losses percent has gone up in the UFC to 50%. So 64% finish rate in the UFC for these guys, win and lose. Pretty good there. What is it? What did I say? Minus 180 doesn't go to decision. So I don't know. At the beginning, I was trying to find a way to bet Jared Gooden just because I have this fight capped so close, but I don't know. Some of those Randy Brown numbers are kind of convincing me I shouldn't. So I'm going to have to look into that a little bit more. On to the main event of the evening. Mackenzie Dern, Marina Rodriguez, strawweight battle. Rodriguez is moving down to strawweight for this fight. Let's see here. Dern, 5'4", 63-inch reach, orthodox fighter, 28 years old. She's 11-1 professionally, 6-1 in the UFC. 42% of her fights go to decision, in which she's 4-1. No knockout numbers, 7 wins by sub, never been subbed. So she has never been finished. 8.5 minute average fight time in the UFC, 8.83 ass whoop index, 5th highest in the strawweight division. Very good number. 5th highest power index at 0.47. Poor chindex though, 0.48. That is 28. That's 5th highest in the strawweight division. You don't want to be 5th highest in that category. Mackenzie Dern opened minus 185. A little bit of money coming in on her opponent. She's currently minus 159. I have it capped much closer than that. Rodriguez, 5'6", 65-inch reach. So she's going to be the taller and longer girl. 34 years old, orthodox fighter, 14-1-2 professionally, 4-1-2 in the UFC. 59% of her fights have gone to decision, where she is 7-1. She has ended 6 fights by knockout, never been knocked out, and she's ended a fight by submission as well. Neither one of these girls has been finished in their careers. Marina Rodriguez, average fight time is over 15 minutes, just barely. Has a negative ass whoop index though. Negative 0.44. A 0.40 power index, that is one position behind Dern, and a perfect chindex of 0. Opened up plus 160, she's currently minus 130. And this fight is a minus 210, does not go to decision. So a huge doesn't go to decision prop on a women's strawweight fight. You really got to kind of look at that. I'm capping this 52% Dern, 48% Rodriguez. I'm going to have to look into those numbers, but I would have thought it would have been a little wider for Dern, but hey, let's get into it here. 4 sub wins for Dern in the UFC, and 1 TKO win for Marina Rodriguez. All 4 of Mackenzie Dern's wins, or finished wins rather, have come in the first round. Very impressive. 4 first round finish wins. Dern, Going to get outstruck here. 3.64 landed per minute, 39% accuracy. Gets hit with 3.57 per minute at a 62% defense. A positive differential, though, of 0.07 per minute. That is 15th out of 32, right about the halfway point of the strawweight division. She positive efficiency, just barely. And Mackenzie Dern, for all those subs, does spend 63% of her total fight time fighting at distance. She does have one knockout. 0.26 knockdowns per 15 minutes, and she has been knocked down once as well. Let's see. Marina Rodriguez on the other side lands 4.7 strikes a minute, 47% accuracy, gets hit with 3.26 strikes a minute, 54% defense, has a great striking differential of 1.44 per minute. That is 7th highest in the strawweight division. Positive 2% efficiency, and she spends 63% of her fight time fighting at distance as well. 2 knockdowns for, none against. Some takedown numbers here. Half a takedown landed per 15 minutes for Dern. She throws over 5 takedowns per 15. That's only a 10% accuracy. Her defense is 0, non-existent. But again, as in the Rosa and whoever the heck he's fight, they don't mind being on the ground. They want to take me to the ground, goddammit, is what they're saying. So yeah, they do not care. Take them down all you want. Marina Rodriguez, probably not the one to do that. Throws less than 1 takedown attempt per 15 minutes. 20% accurate on those few shots. Her takedown defense, though, is 62.5%. So not bad, not great. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe Dern will land a couple of takedowns here. We'll have to see about that. Control time data. Dern, 24% for, 12% against. That's almost a perfectly 2-to-1 ratio. 36.7% total fight time has been inside the distance, where Dern does control 66.5% of that fight time. A decent get-up time for the division, 144. And the second longest hold-down time. Marina Rodriguez, let's see here. Only 8% control time, 28.5% against. That's almost a 1-to-4 ratio. 36% of her fight time has been spent inside the distance, and she only controls 22% of that fight time. So, going against Mackenzie Dern, that's not really what you want to see. Dern, 4 for 9 on her UFC submission attempts. She attempts 2.3 subs per 15 minutes. Let's see here. Advanced striking data. Dern, it's pretty even, actually. And then as far as volume goes, Rodriguez pretty much owns every single category, with the exception of head strikes and a couple of other random categories thrown in there. I expect, Rodriguez is going to be the much more efficient striker and has the much better differential numbers here. But if Dern can get inside and get her on the ground or get taken down somehow, if Rodriguez has poor fight IQ, maybe, I have no idea. That's really that's where she's gonna look to go here with this fight. So pretty much Mackenzie Dern by sub or pass for me. Last 5 fights we can definitely look at. 4-1 for Dern, 3-1-1 is Rodriguez. I like these Dern numbers. All the ground and control time, reversal numbers, they're all going for Dern. All the striking numbers that matter pretty much going for Rodriguez, with the exception of significant striking defense. But look at these. Ass whoop index, 7.16 for Dern. No power index, but a perfect chindex. Rodriguez also rocking a perfect chindex. A bit of power, but a negative ass whoop index there. Last 5 versus the career, these ladies are trending down in almost every category. Their strength of schedules are not great. Rodriguez is several points better than Dern, however. Except Dern's strength of defeat is much better than Rodriguez. Rodriguez losing to Esparza, while Dern losing to Amanda Ribas, who has, proved to be a very decent fighter. Dern rattling off 4 in a row against Cyphers, Marcos, Jandaroba, and Nina Nunes. Subs in 3 of those 4 fights. Rodriguez did get a win over Amanda Ribas, though, a knockout win. I think Ribas is 1 loss. I don't know. That might not be true. She might have more than 1 loss. I don't know off the tippity top of my head. Couple graphs to finish this off. Dern getting outstruck, but decent for a grappler. 3 strikes a minute, trending up. Her takedowns are trending up, but she does need work there. But she doesn't need work. like we said, she wants to be taken down. And then control time, she has her opponents by 5% there. So pretty good. Rodriguez, definitely better striking than her opponents by almost 1 per minute, trending down. Her takedown game definitely needs work. Same with her control time, 6-1. 6-1 in her last 5. And then basic or visual stat recap, basic fight metrics. I mean, we're leaning heavy Rodriguez for part of this, the takedown game. But I mean, we're leaning heavy Dern for the grappling control time, which is where she wants the fight. If the fight goes there, it's going to be over pretty quickly, I think. Rodriguez has never been subbed, but, you know, has she fought anyone like Mackenzie Dern before? No, a bunch of strikers on this list. Torres, Calvillo, Esparza kind of a wrestler, Hibas, and Watterson. So a lot of strikers there. Neither one of these ladies has been finished, as we said. I mean, one's got the power and one's got submissions, and that's pretty much where we're at here. And then Rodriguez with the strength of schedule, except for that strength of victory. And then win, loss, and finish rates. Neither one's been obviously been finished. 50% finishes in wins in the UFC. Only a 36% finish rate for all fights in the UFC, though. So we'll have to see. I don't know. Like I said, I think this one might be Mackenzie Dern or pass. I don't know, man. Rodriguez could get the... This could be a good fight. Rodriguez does have that knockout victory over Hibas, which if she can knock out Amanda Hibas, then she can knock out Mackenzie Dern, I think. So I honestly don't know. I'm going to have to do some more research on this. I'm definitely going to have to do my fight tape because I have not done that yet. All right, guys, we did it. That's all 5 fights coming in just over 40 minutes. Thank you guys for sticking around and watching the breakdown of these 5 fights. Hopefully you kind of know where to put some of your money or maybe where not to put some of your money. Be sure to do your fight tape, pair that with this stat study, and come together like a fucking, 1,000-piece puzzle and just dominate your bookies. That was a terrible analogy, but yeah, just do that and then do the other thing and then take money from those other guys and put it in the thing that's attached to your thing. And then you can like spend it on things. That's what I would do. So get on that. Have a great week, guys. Stay tuned. If you missed the prelim card, I did break down all 6 fights to the prelims of UFC Vegas 39. So check that out. That is out right now. And be on the lookout for a couple of the tipping point, if I could say the name of my own show, the tipping point videos where I'm breaking down, focusing on one specific fight. And if you don't know which way to bet, hopefully by the end of it, I'll tip you in that direction. So it'll be about, 20 minutes or less. And I'm going to try to get at least 2 of them done here. So be on the lookout for that. Again, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate your time. Let's get out and take money from those guys this week. Enjoy the week. Enjoy the fights. And we will see you later. Hit me up on Twitter with any questions or comments. Peace the F out. Take it easy.